Hello everyone, Naodline here. Hope you're all having a good day. Today we've got another Age of the Ring cast, and today it is Farbad. We haven't seen him in a while, but yet he's come back a bit, playing with some enlargers against Caliber. I'm not sure how that's spelled, but yep, we've got Caliber playing with the Dwarves of Erebor. Not yet chosen a faction, but I do know he picks the reign of Ironfoot. Now, the thing with the Dwarves is, currently, the reign of Ironfoot feels very... I think that's the right word for it. What do you think, Smeagol?
Oh, this is so strange. They don't have nearly as many things as the reign of Oakenshield, but they do have the Bragginses. Hate the Bragginses.
Anyway, going to put him back in his cage, not going to have him talk anymore today. Already learned that lesson from last time. So, we've got Farbad, starting off with only one orchard. Oh no, two orchards. But then he goes for a very unique strategy. One that which he has actually employed against me as well. And he goes for the Dunedain Gathering. Now, I wouldn't recommend this against any experienced player that normally goes for pikes and such. Because obviously, what he's about to do includes cavalry. And if you have to go against pikes, for example, the Sigyn Erdrig, then you're going to be in trouble. But they are dwarves, and the main thing about the dwarves are they are really slow, and cavalry is really fast. Yes, that those pikes may be very strong, but they're also 100 resources more than Lake Town pikemen, which unfortunately he cannot get. He can only get Dale pikemen, which are 300. So yeah, there's some balancing that needs to be done for little old Erebor, but that is coming in the next patch. Don't worry, I'm not just saying this expecting nothing to happen. I know what's going to happen. Yep, here we go. It's got some of the good old phalanx moving in for the Warglare, claiming the creep. Now, Farbad is a person that doesn't typically go for early creeps. He prefers to harass the enemy in lots of myriad ways. In a way, he's kind of like Cammy Fries with all the different fun things he does. But this is, yeah, definitely something that I was not expecting. Cheaper than, well, actually no, not cheaper than Dunedain, but almost as cheap as Dunedain Rangers. These Dunedain outriders are potentially the strongest tier 1 cavalry in the game. Rohan only has one tier 1 cav, and that's only a harass unit. Erebor doesn't have any cav. Gondor, Pinnathgelen cavalry are okay, but they don't get any armor until tier 3. Same with Rohan's cav, but both are harass cav. This cav is trample cav as well as harass cav, because they have the wedge formation, which is actually really pivotal to their ability to deal damage. It gives them an extra 20% damage, or 25% damage, reduction of 25% armor, but also reduces crush deceleration. Oh, we see some guardians. We see the forward mine. That is what the strategy for the dwarves normally is in the early game. Get that early mine shaft thrown into the enemy base and deal with anything in the back line. This is, however, is not a very good strategy to employ against evil factions that can spam. Oh, and look at that, the outriders taking out the builder. Oh, that is a bad start. That is an unfortunate start. And yet those outriders moving back and taking next to no damage. Oh, he also used Tango to hide on them. That's why they were doing so well. And without me even remembering, he went for the Brelang encampment. And this is something else. He doesn't spam infantry from here and then gets a couple of Took archers. He goes full Took archer spam. And again, something you wouldn't expect. Because firstly, Took archers, yes, they're cheap. They're really cheap. They've got next to no command points. They're basically orc archers, but in a way better in the late game. Oh, we see here the forward mine shaft. Caliber's trying to go for the tunnel collapse ability, which does it makes the building weaker as a resource building, but in every other way it adds a defensive mechanism, which is necessary. Now I think he cancelled the production of that upgrade in time. Oh, the forward library, that is a mistake, unfortunately, and I think Farbad knows that. I think he's just trying to have some fun with Caliber, messing him around, and yeah, that's why Took archers are so good. Unlike other early tier archers, they're actually really fast, and when you have to look at poor little dwarves with their stubby legs trying to catch up to 2 archers, there's a bit of a problem. And once again, the forward mineshaft, so actually no, not forward mineshaft, but yeah, mineshaft gonna get taken down. He's gone for Dunedain Rangers as well. That I think is to prepare against an archer with oh, what's it called? I think that was to prepare for a archer with the Dale outriders, which are the cavalry unit that you can summon with archer when she hits level 5. But all those guardians over there, they're going to take out that library, but he is going for the Lair of Leithian early on, so he's going straight for Grey Company. Now, if you didn't see my top 10 pike video, I do recommend you watch it. This is the strongest pike unit in the game, in my opinion, through my research and analysis. Now, yeah, look at these Dunedain, crushing everything in their way. And oh, here comes Old Man Glowing. He's, again, unfortunately, stubby legs can't catch up to elite horses. And, yeah, I must say, both sides are playing this really well. Farbad, doing really good harass. Cleaning out resource buildings early on is a very big problem for Caliber. But also, Caliber is taking out both the library, which was a 500 resource structure, and is taking out the Dunedain encampment. That charge did go into a few too many phalanx, but it did not really slow their advancement either. There's a level 4 phalanx right there, but he's finally gone for Bounders. Bounders will beat these pikemen in one-on-one if they were level 1. Unfortunately, no, they are level 5. Oh, those outriders. Oh, there we go. This is what makes the Tukish Archer spam so much more worth it. The companion ability of Gildor, which gives all nearby hobbits extra damage and armor. And you may think, okay, an elf giving buffs to only hobbits, not Breland Townsguard. But honestly, that is fine. Hobbits are more than capable of fighting for themselves. And you can see right here, these Tukish archers are cutting through these dwarves. Obviously in melee combat, unfortunately, the Tukish archers are going to fail. But wait, what can you expect from 200 resource archers? Not much. Granted, not much. Oh, we see Glowin in here. I think Gildor is going to try and bring down those pikes. Oh, he's going to get some levels. He might hit level 3 from this, but he's going to have to run away if he doesn't want to die. There we go. He's escaped. Now, currently, Caliber is ahead, but Farbad still has these cavalry. This one unit, well, the one cavalry unit he keeps around for the entire game is what helps him win this game. I know I kind of gave it away there, but yeah, I think I gave it away a bit by the title and the thumbnail too. That with cavalry you can just win a game. It's the same with Dol Guldur, but they're cavalry OP for lame reasons. Damn spiders. But yeah, looks like both sides are relatively balanced now. Farbad again moving out with the Dunedain outriders. Does he see the pikes in time? He does. The Dunedain have got very good sight range, so he can see most things in front of him. And those phalanxes are going to be going off ahead. He's sending some Breland Townsguard to deal with that while they're going up against the Warglair. I think his objective here is to just take the money from the Warglair. It doesn't matter if he loses the Breland Townsguard because he's going to give Phalanx a hard time. And yep, those outriders still cutting into the Dwarven Mineshafts. Now, if I was Caliber, I would have gone for at least one other recruitment building by now. Having just one is fine, but when you're the Dwarves, you need cheap infantry as well as good infantry. And I think right now, he's going to have some troubles because, yeah, Farbad is moving in. He's actually sitting right on the recruitment building. Oh, speak of the devil, he's starting to go for the Erebor Workshop. That is probably the right choice to deal with all these Tukish archers. And yet he's still spamming more. Again, they're really cheap. So even though he only has 400 command points, unlike Dunedain Rangers, which are like 72 command points, he can get 2 units of Tuk archers for 1 unit of Dunedain. So he could, in theory, right now get 10 units of Tuk archers. Now, obviously, with the battle wagon on the way, I imagine he's not. He'll want to throw maybe just 1 unit of pikes. And here we have Glowin taking out the Warglair, some extra economy, and passively gains armor and damage while near Gimli. That's not bad. Now, Farbad is trying to take out this mine shaft, but is dealing with a couple of phalanx. Oh, but look at that. That is such a... Oh, that was an evil move, but I love it. Using the cavalry to just completely ignore Glowin and take the money. Oh, that must have cost Caliber some skill points there. Pikeman still trying to chase after the Dunedain. I can English, I promise. And yeah, Farbad is sticking to his roots. He's staying in the base. He could get a Sleepless Malice, which would help protect his resource structures, which right now he should expand out a bit. The dwarves are slow. They don't have any mounted heroes, unlike in the Reign of Oak and Shield. So the only thing he needs to really worry about is battle wagons, which will soon be coming out. And yeah, like I said, by this point you want as many recruitment, well, not as many, but a plethora of recruitment buildings, even if it's just all 4 of the same, for example. One or 2 of the same. It helps to have some altogether. Now we see a bunch of dwarves. Now this is the one problem I have with going for all dwarf starts. Yes, it's good. Yes, it is really, really, really good. But unfortunately, their main weakness is their archers may be good, but other archers will more than likely beat them in taking out enemy infantry. Oh, and look at the tornado there. That is thanks to his constant harass of the enemy structures. If he wasn't constantly harassing these outriders, he would not have this tornado, and he would have probably lost this encounter. But it's engagements. But it seems to have worked out fine. He did go for fully armed and filthy, so many of these dwarves are actually with forge blades and heavy armor. Yep, they got dwarven plate and... Oh, is it only... Oh, they only get dwarven plate now. Okay, they only get heavy armor. Okay. But yeah, all these dwarves here had heavy armor. You can see here, some are dwarven plate. You can tell if they have it or not because it says already upgraded. But here we go. Here are the pikemen. He was... I don't think he was expecting the battle wagon. But Gildor, obviously you want to use his abilities. He's a really good tier 1 hero. Next to Arwen. But Arwen is better in the mid game because she buffs allied heroes. And Gildor on his own isn't quite efficient enough. Now with the Royal Assembly, he went straight for tier 2 to get the Barding Longbowman. Not a bad choice. But seeing how well Farbad's been using the his cavalry, I would probably have not gone for that. I would have gone full battle wagon because yeah, even though he's got pikes, a well-placed battle wagon and well monitored, if this was used properly, he could have done some devastating damage. He was just a little bit too slow on the engage, but still did some pretty decent damage. I must admit, it may not have been perfect, but he did do well. But then using Talodan and Galad to reduce all of that to splinters. And where are the Dunedain outriders? I think they died. I think he's getting a new one. Nope, he's going straight for the Grey Company. Yeah, what makes the Grey Company so good? Yes, they're slightly expensive, and they require a library upgrade, which also requires a library to be a functioning building, not destroyed. Which obviously will probably always be the case because you want to keep it near the fortress. But, oh yeah, this is where the 2 archers kind of start to actually fall off because of Barding Longbowman. Now, when I spoke to Farbad, when he gave me this replay, there's quite a few things that he mentioned. Firstly, are there any fear-negating effects for example, the Light of Telperion? Because it's basically it's the Light of Rivendell, but on your tier 1 unit, which is actually really good. Oh, there come the Dunedain Outriders again. I think this was the same unit. It's not been taken out yet. We have 1 charge, and that's taken out the Barding Longbowman. And you don't want to know how much that cost him? 600 resources. And how much did these cost Farbad? 510. So to lose even 1 unit of those archers is a massive loss for Caliber. And he just keeps making more. He's not been making enough pikes. He's going for a lot of infantry. Now, in an infantry versus infantry fight, the main thing you should using infantry for is to use whole ground stance, put your build up armor, and just hold off as long as possible, while the archers are your true damage dealing units in most factions. I say Misty Mountain is probably one of the biggest exceptions to this because they have giant monsters. But yes, archers should always be your main damage dealing units. And cavalry should be used to basically counter that. It's basically the rock, paper, scissors. It's a simple rock, paper, scissors, except in the way infantry and pikemen are very much similar, except the pikemen can deal with cavalry while infantry cannot, and they just get trampled over. So in a game where you're dealing with maybe not massive amounts of cavalry, even maybe just one unit of cavalry or a cavalry hero, just being able to deal with that and keeping your opponent at a disadvantage can really put you in the lead. Which is why I think these battle wagons could have done really well. But the thing is, he's keeping them in the front. I would have probably sent them all the way around and sent them into the back line, because that's where you would least expect them. Now, the good thing about the Grey Company, again, unlike other pike units, they, for one, have bows, so that you can actually keep them in the back line, unsuspecting. And Turkish archers have much shorter range than the Grey Company, which means that if a battle wagon was to go into the back line and try and take down all those archers, they have to go down through a unit that can, at a whim, switch to pikes. Now, look at that again. Unfortunately, the battle wagon it swerved out of place. Now, this wasn't a bug. This was Arwen. So yeah, what makes Arwen good is her ability called Blessing of Tunuthiel. Now, this is the bit that Father mentioned quite hilariously. He thought his barding longbowmen were glitching out. It wasn't that. It was the Blessing of Tunuthiel. He stunned all those archers perfectly in place. Grey Company being switched to pikes to deal with the battle wagon. This time, though, Caliber has gotten a little bit more accustomed to using the battle wagon. It is a bit of a janky system, but once you get used to it, it just keeps trampling. That's the best thing about it. It just keeps trampling, even if it's slowed. Only when you're fighting against other cav can that actually slow it down. And it's soon now going to heal out of combat, gets extra damage and armor, and soon just deals even more damage and even has a ranged unit on top of it. Now, this is the problem. Grey Company, yes, they are pikes, but again, sometimes cavalry can go through pikes and not actually take any trample damage. So I think when he switched mode, I think it was a hair length of a second between them switching modes. The battle wagon managed to just go through them, but look how little damage they took. It wasn't exactly a losing your entire army situation, but he is getting some more Towns Guard. He's not got any more Outriders. I think he has still got one unit alive somewhere. Or he's... Oh, no. Disregard that. He's saving up for Strider. Because Arwen and Strider together... Firstly, this is Arwen's first ability, her attack. Arwen can target units to decrease their speed by 5% up to 25%, and buildings to decrease their armor by up to 25%. Now, this is where she gets a bit broken, and this is going to be reduced in the future patch. Oh. Yeah. He's walking in the air. He threw down the mini meetings and the Blessing of Monway on top of the enemy army, using his Outriders as a bait, really, to throw everything in. That slowed down Caliber by a lot, but he has now got Moria Reclaimed, a tier 3 power, which currently Farbad does not have access to. He went for a second tier 1 and tier 2 power, which in a way puts him a bit behind, but it also gives him more diversity of choice. He could go for any 3 of the tier 3 powers. Gildor has returned, so let me go back to talking about Arwen. Where is she? Where's the girl of the hour? So at level 10, the radius of Arwen's leadership is greatly increased. Also, passively grants Arwen a high percentage of range damage avoidance and increases armor per level. So now, what she also does is gives nearby heroes extra experience and more armor. So any hero that you may think, oh, they look squishy, they're not too tough, suddenly they become killing machines that can destroy an entire army. Aragorn, Elrond, Glorfindel, you know. Yeah, Rivendell's heroes are probably the most evil combination of heroes in the game. Gondor is the only exception. Any one of Gondor's heroes is amazing on its own, but all of them together are also a deadly combination. But Rivendell, once they've been fully kitted out, they do have a much more reliable late game. Going again for more Dunedain Rangers, what I've found with using Rangers is just learn this shortcut: equip spears U, because if you see cavalry anywhere near your backline and your Dunedain Rangers, just click U. Yes, it costs 100, and yes, you can't switch them back to bows, but any cavalry that are there are going to die instantly, and you now have a infantry unit to replace anything you lose, and your archers are safe, constantly doing more damage. So it is a worthy payoff. When you think about it from the perspective of the short term, aiming for the long term game, it is a worthy investment. Now we have got a catapult, the mangonel, striking at the enemy orchard. Now if he put this on aggressive stance, it would have slightly more range, but I think glowing also gives a boost to that anyway. And yet there goes Gildor's Fear. Mori reclaimed into the back line of all those archers. They're running in. Talodan and Galad thrown down to try and save them. Now unfortunately, this is where the Grey Company will perish. All the Khazad-dûm vets were stunned with the blessing of Tanuthiel, but unfortunately, any fear effects like the Light of Telperion, if they were nearby the ancestral home of the ability of the Moria Pillar, which is also the same ability as the Khazad-dûm banner for the Dwarven Tower, they're immune to Gildor's BS, basically, to put it lightly. Yeah, the Grey Company. What makes them so good is, similar to the Tomb Guard, they get slightly stronger for each one of their numbers that die. Only problem is, though, the Khazad-dûm vets are quite literally the highest damage, single target entity damage dealing units of the Dwarven roster, bar their heroes. And maybe the Khazad-dûs Badul. I don't use them enough. I should probably use them more in PvP situations. Oh well. Yeah, the Grey Company, they just lived for now, but that is a full stacked out Dale army with upgrades, by the way, because he does have fully armed and filthy. I normally disregard this power in PvE because I normally don't get it in time, so I want to go for the extra economy. But going for it early is actually really good. Just having that extra boost to your military when you fight is an uneven advantage, which is exactly what the dwarves need in certain situations. Now this mangonel is slowly dealing with the Rivendell Orchard. Oh, what was that? That was some more Dale Phoenix. Now this ability right here, the Dalish Supremacy, this feels this ability feels useless. Nearby enemy Easterling and Variag units suffer 25% damage and armor reduction. So when are you going to fight Variags or Easterlings? Whenever you fight Mordor. Are you fighting Mordor? No. So why the hell would you need this power at level 4? It feels so useless. Yes, you can get them to level 4. Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about. I'm just going to ignore everything else and come straight to here. Aragorn on his own, cleaving down an entire Dwarven army. With the King's Foil ability and Talodan and Galad soon off cooldown. Look how much damage he's dealt. He's just destroyed everything. Is it level 3 because of level 4 because of that? You can even use the power of the Even Star to so that they can heal when they deal damage. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't work on your like heroic tier units, your elites, the Grey Company, and so forth. Oh, there's good old Gimli right there. Level 1, but that's a level 5 Aragorn, soon to be level 6. So yeah, probably shouldn't bother with that. But yeah, with that, we see the Grey Company returning. We see some outriders returning. We now have elves from the side of Farbad. He's starting to go into his elite units now. Now the thing with the dwarves is their elite game is basically their early game. You go for barding, well, for Dale in particular, you go barding longbowmen. You go for you want to go Grimhammers, honestly. Grimhammers are what you want to be going for. Throw in a sprinkling of 1 or 2 pike units. You only need really barding phalanx, but late town phalanx are better, or late town pikemen, just because they're cheaper and they don't require. Well, they don't have a a silly ability. Plus, the Master of the Lake Town buffs their damage tremendously. Obviously, like I said earlier, the main thing about pikemen is not to deal damage, but if they can deal more damage for free, I'd do that. But yeah, while we have a ragtag band of dwarves and men, mostly men, we see the elites of the peoples of Rivendell. Oh, Farbad going for the tactical resource improvement from the Blessing of Ulmo. This is where the resources of Rivendell hit sky high limits. It is insane the economy they can get. So let's see if this works out for either side. So let's see glowing. I saw Gimli earlier. I know I did. I know I'm not missing something. Yeah, while the Blessing of Ulmo was active, Farbad could have attacked because all his units will be healing passively, on top of everything else, getting extra armor. But the only problem is, Rivendell aggression is not well suited until the very, very late game. When you get Noldor vets, you've got all elite elves, things like that. But he has gone for the Nordrin armor, so he is going to be... those elves are going to be very tanky once they have all those upgrades. He's gone for a mix of one of each elven unit. Personally, that's fine. I prefer to go for Itiari. The Etiari. They are definitely your best spam pikes because you can get a lot of them, and they have an ability that reduces, like increases their armor, which always is a nice thing to have. They're basically they're tier 1 units for the Elven King's Guard, but do slightly better because they're not tailored towards basically protecting the realm. They just protect everything. Those outriders, unfortunately not the same outriders that we saw in the beginning of the game, but still the outriders we know and love. Now watch how Aragorn is just gonna sit back and wait, and now charge in. He is getting focused by all the dwarven archers. They do not want to mess with him. Now that is probably the biggest mistake they can make, because yeah, all those archers are now clumped up in one place, not focusing any one unit. With a great company there, taking 0 trample damage. Battle Wagon did hit tier 4, kill a lot of Tookish archers, but unfortunately it's getting no further. I heard Gimli death right there. Moria Reclaimed is back already? Oh, that was fast. Which is a good thing. He needs that power quite often. Now with 18 power points, what can the dwarves do to make a change? I would go send in the goats. Send in the goats, trample on everything, gives them a moment of reprieve. He has been hit by again, he has been hit by the Blessing of Monway and the Breath of Monway and many meetings, so his backline is very weakened. And there we go, the Light of Telperion once again, bringing all his units away from the front. Gildor's now level 7, so he doesn't get more Noldor exiles yet, but those outriders are finding those archers all separated from their pikes. The Noldor over here are doing exceptional work. Aragorn is chasing down poor little Glowin. He killed the son, now he's after the father. And, yeah, poor Glowin's not going to get away. I don't think he's gone for the... I don't think he's gotten... No, he hasn't got Andril yet, because he hasn't got a tier 3 forge. But, yeah, with that victory, I think Caliber realised his current position in trying to overthrow Farbad with superior numbers has not quite worked. That's the thing with Imladris. No matter what you try to do against them, they can always throw something more at you if they use conservatively. Use one thing at a time, because it's all really good. But you have to know if you do need to use everything. So I think at this point, Caliber, he was close to getting Earthquake. If he had Earthquake, that could have made a big difference in that attack. It's a shame he didn't have it. If he had some battle wagons and went around and harassed the enemy base, I think that could have worked. The only problem with the dwarves is they have no cavalry. They have battle wagons, so the Noldor vets could have easily sweep them away while he tried to destroy the resource structures, because they don't do very good against single target entities. Well, buildings. Let's be more specific on buildings. So yeah, that's when Caliber quit the game. The well played on both sides. Farbad using those cavalry, those Dunedain outriders to incredible effect. Thank you for bringing this to me. It was very fun to watch first time and actually very insightful. I'm definitely going to try some of these things in next time I play Rivendell. So I hope you've all enjoyed. Keep the replays coming if you have any in mind. And if anyone's still around watching, first, thanks for sticking around to the very end. But secondly, Age of the Ring campaigns. They're going to be coming back soon. So until then, farewell.